Hey, it's me, Big Chips. So today I thought it'd be an interesting video idea to do a tier list, in my opinion, of all the killers in Dead by Daylight. So without further ado, let's discuss the tiers. We got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier. So without further ado, let's get it started. Okay, this is a hot take one. The Trapper. So with certain builds, Evil Trapper, check it out on YouTube. What did Big Chips? Sorry, what was that? Check out Evil Trapper by Big Chips. This will be posted to my gaming channel, so on my second channel, whatever whatever you want to call it. Check out Evil Trapper. Evil Trapper is easily A or B tier, but Trapper with Honing Stone or not Honing Stone, Iridescent Stone, and Trapper Bag can also be good. I think Trapper is balanced, but his power depends on if survivors will do it. You can't guarantee that it will get use. But I'm gonna put him in C tier because he still can get lots of value. Okay, Wraith. Wraith is the second best stealth killer in my opinion because Sato sucks and so does Meyers. But Wraith, I'm gonna go Wraith in A tier because he can move too fast and cloak, and he can cloak really fast, and the lunge he gets out of his cloak is really good. So I feel like Wraith is annoying. All right, this is without a doubt the first S tier entry. I mean, Hillbilly is so good. I mean, everybody knows that I believe that Hillbilly is a lot better than Blight. So, yeah, Hillbilly is S tier. He can insta down and he can move fast as shit. How is that not S tier? Okay, here's another pretty obvious S tier. Um, Now, is Nurse better than Billy? Yes. So, Nurse can go through walls and floors and whatnot, although she is soon getting a nerf. It only limits her to one blink if she goes through walls. And I think that is gonna put her down a couple spots, but Nurse is S tier, self explanatory. Meyers, F tier. Unfortunately, it has to be done. Um, Now, I'm not going to get into add ons um, in this video, but I will do another tier list one day where I get into ranking killers based on their add ons. But Meyers' base kit is terrible. He has a limited time power that allows him to take the game hostage by slugging in order to get the max value out of it, which is annoying as shit. But Meyers is not very good base kit. He can only get his power a limited amount of times, which makes him badly designed because he can't get his power whenever he feels like it, which is pretty stupid. But hopefully he gets a rework soon. Hag, the killer nobody plays as. Now strength wise, I'm gonna have to say she's with Trapper in C tier. I mean she's now don't get me wrong, Hag is not better than Trapper, I don't think. Hag, not had, or whatever I said, has phantasm traps that she can teleport with a certain add-on. But once again, we're not discussing add-ons. Um, she could teleport to her traps once they're triggered by survivors. But once again, much like Trapper, this power can be easily avoided. So yeah, C tier. Not much else to say. Doctor. I'm gonna go B tier with Doctor. So Doctor, in my opinion, is very map reliant. If you get Midwich, you will be in tier 3 constantly. Madness tier 3 constantly. And if you're on Mother's Dwelling, you will be in tier 3 a lot less. However, his anti-loop is very good. He's at definitely top of B tier. His anti-loop is very good because he can literally prevent survivors from vaulting or dropping a pallet. But like I said, he's map reliant with his static blast. However, if you run distressing with him, you will get more value out of it. Hence the reason I always do. But yeah, B tier I think is a fair spot for him. Huntress, definitely either A or S. I think I'm gonna put her top of A tier. Um, No, yeah, top of A tier. Um, Huntress is very good, very good. But the reason she's not S tier is because I believe that there is a killer. This is like the hottest take ever, but I believe that there is a killer, much like the Huntress, that is better. But that's a bias, but we'll get into that later. Huntress is very good. She can cross map from anywhere. If you have skills, she has really good, really good map pressure because she could just throw hatches whenever she pleases, and it's easy enough to reload at the lockers. Considering the devs thought it'd be a great idea to buff the Huntress so she has fucking 7 hatches and not 5. Like what the fuck? But whatever. The devs, we as we've established, the devs don't make smart choices. Okay, Bubba, B tier. Bubba is very fucking annoying. Very, very fucking annoying. And his chain sweep is very. If you have grouped up survivors, you can get lots of value out of his chain sweep, but he comes with a pretty hefty downside. If you have collision, you will enter what's called a tantrum. Now they did buff it so it's shorter, but Bubba is not like Hillbilly because he doesn't have the best map pressure or movement. But yeah, I think B tier is a fair place for him. Moving on to Freddy Krueger, F tier. I think he is the worst killer in the game, without a doubt. Everybody says Trapper's the worst or Meyers is the worst or whatever. No, it's Freddy. Freddy is a killer without a power, essentially. Let me rephrase that. So, Freddy's power is all about the dream world. So, without survivors being in the dream world, they cannot trigger snares, they cannot trigger pallets, and Freddy's just a normal M2 killer or M1 killer. To get into the dream world, you either have a clock or a Freddy hits you. And even then, you're oblivious, but you can easily be woken up or wake yourself up, or if you get downed, you'll be and hooked, or if you get downed, you'll be taken out of the dream world. So Freddy is not that good. Um, he has to rely too heavily, and besides, survivors can have the easiest counterplay of failing a skill check, and they literally avoid Freddy's power by doing so. So he's badly designed. He is not powerful in the slightest. Pallets suck. F tier. Pig. Uh, uh, I'll go C tier. Pig has slowdown. That's the one major thing. She can slow down a team of survivors to stop doing gens pretty fucking quickly, or at least stop one of them from doing gens. Um, if they fail to do that and keep doing gens, they will be insta killed. No questions asked. Insta killed. That in itself is pretty good. The problem is it's very, very rare that you will be getting survivors who die to the head traps. Pig also has a stealth mode, which is nurse moving speed but slower, and same with the ambush is it's kind of good. Like the ambush got buffed, they buffed Pig, rare occurrence, but the ambush is kind of decent. But at the end of the day, why would you not just use Wesker when he could pretty much do the same thing? But yeah, C tier. Okay, Fat Fuck is going in F for Fat Fuck. No, I'm just kidding. Clown goes in here for double D's. Clown. Okay, Clown has decent anti-loop, but nobody should ever tell me that it's better than Doctor's when the Doctor can stop somebody from vaulting up a window or a pallet or even pulling a pallet. The Clown makes you go slower. I think it's 10% slower with the purple bottles, which can lead to some pretty good hits. But once again, there are so many other killers that can make survivors move slow, or they can move fast, such as Hillbilly or Wesker. So, and Clown has yellow bottles, which also can be good, but once again, Billy can move really fast. Blight can move fast. Nurse can even blink fast. I mean, fuck. Clown is just not really worth using, considering his bottles are not that good and they're just better versions. Okay, moving on to the fucking spirit. I wish I could give it its own category, but A tier. Spirit is bugged as fuck. That's all. That's what I'm gonna say. They can't fix the sound cues, so you know where the spirit is. It's very difficult to know because behavior can't seem to get their game running properly. So, yeah, that's annoying as shit. Besides that, she feels really slow to play, as I've noticed. She moves at 4.4, I believe, but the phasing is a really good ability if you have skill. I believe Spirit takes skill, so Legion D. I mean, Legion can, if survivors choose not to heal, Legion's power becomes useless. Other than 12 seconds of slowdown, but I will get into that soon with another killer that is coming up. His slowdown is good, but it's not that good. And if the survivors choose not to heal, he gets no value out of his power. No value at all. So if it all depends on how how the survivors play, but most of the time they won't heal. All right, moving on to Plague. Another easy as fuck S tier. Plague is annoying as fuck. Essentially, Plague can puke on you and make you broken for the whole game. Or if you choose to get rid of that, you give Plague an even better ability, which is a ranged puke attack, which is a really bad design because no matter what, you're giving the Plague an overpowered power. Plus, she can puke on things to make it last longer, so if you touch him, you get infected. Plague is annoying as shit, my second least favorite killer to go against. And for that reason, she's S tier because there's literally nothing you can do. Because no matter what, she's either going to find you, you're going to die to her red puke, or you're going to be broken and BM1'd. And there's nothing you can do about it. Moving on. Ghostface. This might be the hardest one to rank on the list, but I believe he is just ever so slightly better than Wraith. Wraith has more speed, but Ghostface can expose. So it's really whatever you want. Ghostface, much like the Spirit, is bugged as hell. You can look at him and you won't reveal him. And behavior, once again, doesn't fix it. And it's been broken like this with people complaining. So it makes no fucking sense why they can't fix him. But moving on to bugs aside, he can expose people and instant down them. Like, that's a pretty good power. Now, I might know it, but he is much like Wraith, but Wraith. So pretty much you could choose what you want. Do you want to expose people, or do you want speed? It's and the reason he'll be possessed because he has both, but he's not stealthy. But you get the point. Ghostface is A tier. This might just be the most overrated killer to ever come to DBD. Demogorgon. Demogorgon is not that great. Demogorgon has the shred ability, which, once again, you can just use Wesker or Blight to do pretty much the same thing. And as for his tunnels, there's a killer with a better mechanic that is very similar, who we'll talk about much later. So there's really no reason to use Demogorgon no more, as opposed to the Xenomorph. So C tier. Plus Xenomorph has the tail attack, which is irritating as shit. Where to even start with this one? Oni, A tier. Oni is made to slug. Yeah. Slugging, nothing pisses me off in Dead by Daylight more than slugging. And Oni is the perfect example of it. Oni can end you essentially. That's all. That's all. He can edge. He can fucking insta down. He has speed, but it's a limited time ability. Unlike where Hillbilly can do the same thing, but better, right? Because he can activate his power whenever he wants. Now that he's got his buffed mode. But that's only okay. Now here's where the bias comes in. Deathslinger, my main. Now, let me try to justify what I'm trying to say here. Deathslinger is, I think Deathslinger is better than Huntress. Barely. Barely. And I will tell you why. Deathslinger, unlike the Huntress, Deathslinger has slowdown because once he hits somebody with his harpoon and reels them in and hits them, or if they escape, they get deep wound. Now, with add-ons, but we're not getting into add-ons, deep wound can cause slowdown and impair the survivor's vision a little bit, causing an extra health bar. Now, the reason that it's better than Legion this time around because he can actually down people using his power, and he can shoot through the tiniest cracks to reveal survivors. Hunter, and even if he lets survivors wiggle out of his chain, they still get they still get injured and have the deep wound status effect. Now, the one downside to Deathslinger is he moves at 4.4, but so does Huntress. Huntress can cross map, Deathslinger has slowdown. Which one would you rather take? I would take slowdown personally. But once again, that's a bias. Pyramid Head. Top of A tier. Pyramid Head is really good. One of the few killers I actually enjoy going up against. So Pyramid Head's power is a little bit complicated. So he can have trails on the ground, and if a survivor just so happens to step in the trails, they become what's called tormented. And if Pyramid Head downs a survivor while they're tormented, he has the option to send them to a cage. Now, sending to a cage does take a hook state, but the pro to this is it doesn't activate perks like Off the Record, Decisive Strike, fucking Dead Hard, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't activate that because it's technically not a hook, but it counts as a hook stage. So that in itself is a really good upside because it negates hook perks. That being said, it's also a two-way thing. You can't use pain res or pop when you send someone to a cage. So once again, you just have to pick the right build. Pyramid Head, on top of that, negating hook perks, sorry, has an ability that can go through walls. The only other killer to do that is Nurse. He can, it's called Punishment of the Damned, and he can slam his knife into the ground and shoot it up, and a trail of, or a thing of barbed wire comes up, and yeah, they can go through walls. It can hit multiple people. Yeah, and it's you can pretty much do it instantly. So top of A tier. Okay, here's where I'm gonna get the negative comments. B. B for blight. B for bad. Now, okay, now hear me out. Nate, somebody try to say one thing in the comments that can say how Billy is better than, or how Blight is better than Billy. He's not. Not even fucking close. Billy can insta down. Billy can move faster. Billy is better in every aspect, but Blight is significantly easier to use than Billy is. So therefore, people say Blight is the second best killer when in fact it's not fucking true. Name me one thing the Blight can do that the Hillbilly can't, other than hit walls. Billy can insta down. Blight cannot. Blight is overrated. Just saying. And if you think that I'm wrong, just know I can have an opinion too. And feel free to leave yours in the comments below. Next up, we got the twins. Another killer that's poorly designed and made to slug, but that being said, they are decent. B tier. The twins. Okay, the twins' power is literally Victor, the baby. Now, Victor is super fucking annoying because he can move fast and jump on people. Like every child. annoying and jumps on people. But Victor can be crushed, but he still takes a health state. He can make them broken, he can make them oblivious, and I don't remember the third status effect, but yeah, Victor's good, and he can be used to down people, and he can be used as an alert range. If you leave him dormant, it shows killer instinct of people around. Twins are an inconvenience, but however, Victor can be crushed, and therefore you can also kick Victor, so you can negate their power as well. Okay, moving on to Trickster. Fucking F tier. Now, you'd need to tell me, why would you use Trickster over Deathslinger or Huntress? Is it because you like K-pop? Um, yeah. Trickster can use 8 knives to uh, weaken a survivor. And on the ninth knife hit, it will down the survivor. So, let's say you're going against a survivor who has off the record and they're fully healed. It would take you 27 knives in order to down them, which is half of your knife thing. He also has main event, which is annoying, but moderately useless because he could just use knives and it would do pretty much the same thing. But when you can have either one hatchet or one shot that takes a hell state rather than throwing 9 separate things from each hand, it's just not really worth it. But yeah, after Nemesis. B tier. Nemesis, no, fucking A tier, and I'll tell you why. Nemesis's tentacle is fucking annoying. It could shred through pallets, it can go over pallets, but I always thought that they should buff Nemesis because tier 3 is not that much better than tier 2, so I always thought if you hit a survivor over a pallet in tier 3, like this is cool, buff idea. If you hit a survivor over a pallet in tier 3, it breaks the pallet as well as either gives T-virus to survivors or damages them, or downs them, whatever. I feel like that'd be a cool idea. But not Pinhead, Nemesis, the fact that you have to hit survivors 3 times can seem like an inconvenience. But once I tell you there's only 5 vaccine boxes, and once you get them with the T-virus, when there's no vaccine boxes, they cannot get rid of it at all. Plus, the reason that he's not B tier is because of his stupid zombies. If you're working on a gen and a zombie is around, you cannot work on the gen because the zombie will kill you. So zombies are more annoying. That's what makes him A tier. Because of his stupid zombies, which is what it is. Pinhead. Pinhead. S tier. Below Pyramid Head. A tier. Pinhead's power's annoying as shit, especially if you have stupid teammates, which if you're playing with randoms on Dead by Daylight, they're gonna be stupid, guaranteed. However, his anti-loop is really good, probably better than Doctor's, because he can bound somebody to one certain spot, and with add-ons can even down them, but once again, not talking about add-ons, but briefly mentioning. He also has a really annoying power called the Chain Hunt, where if the survivors fail to solve the lament configuration, constant chains bombard them and interrupt their actions, which is it is very inconvenient for the survivors and they can't progress the game. So Pinhead also has his box, as I mentioned, and if a survivor doesn't solve it, it activates Chain Hunt. And if a survivor starts to solve it, Pinhead has the option to teleport to them, revealing their location and pretty much guaranteeing a down if you don't have a skill issue. So pretty much Pinhead is either 50-50. You ignore the box and try to push through gens until you can't no more, or you grab the box to stop the chain hunts from coming and Pinhead downs you. So, pretty annoying. But I think A tier is fair. Bird Lady, F tier. Hello? F tier. Oh, okay, there we go. It's just lagging. No, we're not there yet. You know what? No, we'll put her up to D tier because she's not as bad as those 3. Bird Lady. Okay, so her crows are fucking hit or miss. Um, I'll just start off with her power. So, essentially, she has three crows that she can launch. So she can hit survivors with crows, and then crows start swarming them. Survivors can repel by the time she can get her crows back up and ready, or they have the option to jump into a fast forward into a locker and fast forward into a locker and get the birds off instantly. Her power is not that good, purely because yes, it can be information used, and she can pretty much down people across from the map, but so can Huntress, so can Billy, because he can just sprint over there. So, in retrospect, she's not worth using, considering in order to even hit somebody and damage somebody with your power, you need to rely on them not repelling or not jumping into a locker. So, it's not really worth it. Now, Sadako. Foreshadowed a little bit, but F tier. Uh, no. Get back down. F tier. Sadako is fucking okay. Imagine Freddy and Wraith had a child. Sadako would be the result. Sadako can teleport to these stupid TVs around the map, and if you are near the TV, you gain a stack of condemned. I think you get 8 stacks of condemned before you are fully condemned. I'm not really sure. But if you fail to grab a tape and put it into a TV, then you're fucked and you can get insta-moried no matter the hook stage. Now that sounds good on paper, talking about insta-mori, but in retrospect, you're not going to be condemned that often, especially considering the maps. Now, if we're talking about Midwich here, the most killer-sided map there is, Sadako would be fucking S tier. But since not every game is Midwich, Sadako is F tier because Mother's Dwelling, there's TVs in like the corners of the map and like couple in the center, which it's not worth it. And plus, it takes 3 seconds to grab a tape and 10 seconds to run over to the other TV you need to put the tape in, and it gets rid of your condemned. So it's not worth it unless you're playing Midwich when you can just keep insta teleporting and disorientate the survivors as they get condemned. But overall, Sadako is not very good. Plus, her stealth ability is not better than Wraith's because she doesn't get a lunge out of her cloak. And her teleport is niche because it's much like Freddy, only to certain spots on the map, compared to the unknown, which I'm pretty sure you can control that. Okay, moving on to my least favorite killer to go against. Fucking Dredge, who is S tier. There is nothing more fucking annoying than the stupid nighttime. Nighttime pisses me the fuck off because it is so broken. You can't see a fucking thing. You can't tell if he's behind you since they decided to buff him. And he could teleport to lockers like turbo mode in fucking nighttime. It's crazy. Now, the one counterplay to this is you can lock lockers, but even so, it takes if the Dredge sees a locked locker, it takes him 2 seconds to break the lock, and there's nothing you could do. Plus, on top of that, he has a thing where he has an anti-loop power where if you're looping him at Shack, let's say, you can hold up your hand and you can drop a remnant in the middle of Shack, and you could force somebody to vault the Shack window, and then you could teleport to your remnant and hit them essentially. It's broken, and on top of that, the devs decided to buff his ass, so even when he's not in nighttime, his locker travel speed is still turbo mode. So he's annoying as shit to face. You can't see a thing at nighttime, and there's nothing you can do against him. There's nothing you can do against a Dredge because he's pretty much a stealth killer in fucking nighttime. Anyways, moving on from that monstrosity, Wesker. Mm. A tier, but between Pinhead and Pyramid Head. Wesker's power is very, very good. Very good. He can launch either. Okay, so he can grab somebody with his Ouroboros and slam them against something. And that makes them lose a health state as well as gain the Ouroboros virus. Okay? Now, alternatively, he can throw somebody or he can grab somebody with his virulent bound and throw them against something, and once again they'll lose a health state. Or thirdly, he can throw somebody and they won't hit anything, but they will gain the Ouroboros effect. But Wesker is has a 40-meter tear radius, so you can hear him coming from a mile away. That's what makes him not S tier. But the fact that he can down people pretty much instantly with his power, and the Ouroboros thing, which can make them a one-shot with the vial, or not the vial, with the if they are fully Ouroboros, one shot with the virulent bound can insta down them. Like he can insta pick them up. The counterplay to get rid of your Ouroboros is the med spray, first aid spray, but these are limited. You only get 12 of them, I'm pretty sure. So granted, if you make them waste all of their sprays, you can keep them exposed and there's nothing they could do. But that rarely happens. But Wesker's very good. Knight, pre-rework, he would be in A or B tier, but now I think he has to go to C tier. Now, don't get me wrong, Knight needed his rework, but they also nerfed him hard. You can't insta-drop a guard no more. You need to create the patrol path 10 more meters, which is, I don't know why. Nobody complained about that at all. But, well, I guess some people did, and because it would lead them to insta-downs. But, you know what I mean. The Knight, his best guard now is the Jailer, in my opinion. He could chase for the longest. So he's worth it. The Carnifex is good, and honestly, because he can break pallets, and honestly, the Assassin kind of is the worst now. Yes, he can move the fastest, but he can't really chase for that long. And the Jailer can move not that much slower. But the Knight overall is not that good. The only thing that makes him not D tier is the fact that he can insta-break pallets and go to... And if you're chasing the same survivor a guard is, the meter will go down 3 times as much. So it's really stupid. Oh, fuck me. Moving on to this fucking Chris Jenner ripoff. I don't even know where to put fucking Skull Merchant. Like, I'm gonna put her in A tier. Now, why was I thinking about S tier? Is because every time you face a Skull Merchant, you want a DC. There's nothing you could do. She's overpowered as shit. Her drone, she can have too many drones because she can recall him and instantly place him down to get undetectable pretty much whenever she fucking wants. And on top of that, it can be used to camp and tunnel and slug. And it can make you broken, which I don't know, it's stupid. She was better before her fucking rework, honestly. But they better think of an idea to rework her ass again, because I do not like facing this killer, and I don't think one person in the community does. Enough of that fucking bitch. Oh my god. Got myself all worked up over that one. Singularity, B. Now, Singularity has the potential to be one of the best killers in the game. But, that being said, it also depends on how the survivors play. If the survivors hide the whole time, the Singularity will get no value out of their power. If the survivors are caught out in the open and a biopod sees them, oh, they're in for a fucking treat, because the Singularity can teleport to them no matter where they are on the map. Granted, they're granted that if they're slipstreamed, the Singularity can look through a security camera and can see and can teleport to the survivor instantly. As well as he can teleport at free will with his little left hand thingy majiggy. Whenever he feels like it. He can also break pallets 30 times faster, I think it is, when he's freshly teleported. And if a pallet's dropped on him as he's like, I don't know what the word is, like if he's like green, the pallet will be instantly broken. So that is really good. I think he's top of B tier, but not quite A tier, purely because it depends on how the survivors play. Xenomorph. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Dracula's not on this list because he's not out yet. Xenomorph. A tier. A tier behind Wraith. Xenomorph, when he first came out, was fucking agony. The tail attack was too powerful. But How it is now is still fucking. If it was the same, it'd be S tier. But much unlike Demogorgon, Xenomorph can go in his tunnels and gain his power back pretty fast, and the tail attack can go over pallets and over small short objects and through windows when the shred cannot do that. And Xenomorph is faster at teleporting because he can pretty much teleport to wherever he wants and not go to a certain tunnel, therefore making Demogorgon completely useless. Xenomorph is annoying as shit, especially with the bullshit tail attack. Don't even get me fucking started on the hitbox on that thing. If you don't vault the window, you get hit with an M1. If you do vault the window, you get fucked by the tail. So it's annoying, but I can't deny it's not powerful. Okay, this son of a bitch this little midget, not to get confused with Victor, should not be in the fucking game. The fact that the devs thought it would be a good idea to have a killer not only in the third person, but be shorter than the grass on fucking swamp is complete bullshit. He is a stealth killer who is 3 inches tall and has an attack that can make him go fast and can vault pallets, windows, and etc. and whatnot. They thought that'd be a good idea. The fact that doesn't make him as serious because he moves at 4.4, not 4.6, but even with he can be undetectable. A fucking tiny ass killer can be undetectable. He's annoying as shit and shouldn't be in the game. They should rework his fucking power completely. Moving on from that fucking ginger ass midget, the Unknown. In my opinion, the most balanced killer in Dead by Daylight. So for that reason, he is going right in B tier. Now, when I say the Unknown's balanced, I mean his power is like Nemesis's, kind of, but a little bit more balanced, because Nemesis with his zombies is complete bullshit. The Unknown can go through walls. That's a part. I'm gonna put him actually at the bottom of A tier. Hello. Okay, bottom of A tier. Now, he can go through walls with his power, which is fucking obscenely good. He can also teleport to what the fuck you call them? The random things around the map that he leaves behind, and you can also shoot through walls with your power. It's fucking crazy. But I still think he's balanced because he takes a lot of skill with banking the shot off of walls and going through walls and teleporting at the right times. So I think Unknown's pretty balanced. I don't have an issue with facing him, but is what it is. Now this bald motherfucker is going in S tier because he is annoying as shit. The fact that survivors need to rely on items to expose his powers, and don't even get me started on the fucking hand and eye of Vecna, they're fucking crazy. And they're not really worth it because if you just I actually got the hand of Vecna and eye of Vecna in the same game. Like, I had them both at the same time. I went into a locker to teleport, and I teleported to literally the locker pretty much right next to where the killer was standing. That was complete bullshit. And the eye can make you invisible, but the Lich can still hear you and can still have collision with you. So the Lich is fucking broken. And on top of that, his power, haven't even got started on that. He has 4 different abilities in one power. So I'll start off with the worst, in my opinion, which is the skulls. The skulls are kind of like artist crows, except they can actually damage a hell state without already being swarmed by crows, that is. However, this comes with a really hefty downside without using the iridescent add-on, but not going there. You can crouch the fucking the skulls, and that's a fucking downside. However, if you do crouch the skulls, I'm pretty sure, unless it was the add-on I was using today, I don't remember, but it reveals their aura if they do. But I'm pretty sure that's a fucking add-on. But whatever. But it's the worst. But still, it can go across the fucking map. So another reason not to use the artist. His second worst power is the flying. Now, it is fast as shit. and it can go a lengthy distance and can vault fucking windows. It needs a fucking nerf. I think if you're gonna allow vaulting windows, you should reduce the speed at least. Thirdly, the orb that reveals your location if you're in it. That thing is fucking annoying as shit, and it can be angled up and downwards, which don't even get me fucking started on how overpowered that is for some maps. But moving on from that, the best ability, the fucking mage hand. It is so goddamn annoying, and that is probably the best anti-loot power in the game, other than yeah, no, that is the best anti-loot fucking power in the game, because you are literally making the survivors not able to pull a pallet. Also, you can lift up the fucking pallet, which is so stupid. Like what? So a killer can now have any means necessary. He is completely broken, and the mage hand needs to be fucking nerfed. But that's Big Chip's killer tier list. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you disagree with any of my takes, feel free to leave a comment down below and I can prove your ass wrong. So, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's fucking 4:30 and I'm tired and I just wanted to make this because I was bored and couldn't sleep. So, feel free to leave your comments in down below and I will try to respond to every one of them. Thank you for watching and I'm going to bed.